Good morning, sir. My name is Duro Magallanes from Bachelor of Science in Criminology, and this is my video presentation in personal security. Number 1. What are the personal security measures and what are their purpose? Personal security is a system of policies and procedures which aim to manage and minimize the risk of people exploiting legitimate access to an organization's asset or premises for unauthorized purposes. This purpose can encompass many forms of criminal activity, from minor theft through to terrorism. Number 2. Why is pre-employment screening is important? Candidate screening is one of the most important tasks that you have as a recruiter. However, analyzing hundreds of CVS for a given position and deciding who to move forward in the recruitment process based on incomplete and insufficient information in an overwhelming responsibility. Hence, companies naturally look for ways to improve candidate screening and develop a more accurate and valid recruitment process. Pre-employment screening plays an important role in this scenario, allowing recruiters to make an evidence-based selection of candidates. Combined with new screening tools, pre-employment test helps to speed up the recruitment process and to select the most suited candidates for a position. Every time you bring in a new employee, your company makes many long-term investments related to onboarding and training. Making the best hiring decisions will have a major impact on your company, leading to increased productivity and lower turnover rates. On the other hand, if you're not able to hire the best fit for a role, chances are that the new employee when succeed on the job and all the time, effort, and money spent with his integration on the company is lost. Number 3. Why is it important to practice ongoing personal security? Personal security is a system of policies and procedures which aim to manage and minimize the risk of people exploiting legitimate access to an organization, assets, or premises for unauthorized purposes. These purposes can encompass many forms of criminal activity, from minor theft through to terrorism. A first step to achieving this is to consider a people risk within your organization by conducting a personal risk assessment. Consider the implementation of throughout pre-employment screening methods. This will support your organization to employ only suitably qualified and reliable individuals. Once employed, manage them professionally to minimize the chances of staff becoming disgruntled. Finally, create a strong security culture, detect suspicious behavior, and resolve security concerns once they become apparent. Number 4. What happened during exit procedure? An exit procedure might be initiated by an employee or an employer. Exit procedures are important and necessary because it will explain the reason for ending the employee or employer, whether it is a termination, retirement, or any other reason. An exit interview has three purposes. Number one, to learn where the organization can improve itself. Number two, to make sure that employees leave feeling good as they can about their experience. Number three, in some cases, to encourage the employee to stay under new circumstances. Number 5. What are the three lines of defense and how do they provide physical security? First line of defense, management. The first line of defense lies with the business and process owner. Operational management is responsible for maintaining effective internal controls and for executing risk and controls procedures on a day-to-day basis. This consists of identifying and assessing controls and mitigating risk. Additionally, business and process owners guide the development and implementation of internal policies and procedures and ensure activities are consistent with university goals and objectives. Mid-level managers may design and implement detailed procedures that serve as controls and supervise execution of those procedures by their employees. Next is second line of defense. Risk management and compliance. The second line supports management to help ensure risk and controls are effectively managed. Management establishes various risk management and compliance functions to help build and or monitor the first line of defense controls. Typical function in this second line of defense includes a risk management function and committee that facilitates and monitors the implementations of effective risk management practiced by operational management and assist risk owners in defining the target risk exposure and reporting adequate risk-related information throughout the organization. A compliance function to monitor various specific risks such as non-compliance with applicable laws and regulation. In this capacity, the separate function reports directly to senior management and controllership function that monitors financial risk and financial reporting issues. Management establishes this function to ensure the first line of defense is properly designed, in place, and operating as intended. The second line of defense serve an important purpose, but because of their management function, they cannot be completely independent. And next is third line of defense, internal audit. The third line of defense provides assurance to senior management and the board that the first and second lines efforts are consistent with expectations. The main difference between this third line of defense and first two lines is its high level of organizational independence and objectivity. Internal audit may direct or implement processes, but they can provide advice, and recommendation regarding processes. Additionally, internal audit may support enterprise risk management but may not implement or perform risk management other than inside of its own function. Internal auditors accomplish their objectives by bringing a systematic approach to evaluating and improving the effectiveness of risk management, control, and governance processes. Number 6. What are the factors to consider a document and information security? Elements of an information security policy. Purpose. First, state the purpose of the policy, which may be 2. Audience, information security objectives. Next is authority and access control policy and data classification and data support and operations, security awareness and behavior. And next is responsibilities, rights, and duties of personnel. Number 7. What are the characteristics of information? Confidentiality. This component is often associated with secrecy and the use of encryption. Confidentiality in this context means that the data is only available to authorized parties. When information has been kept confidential, it means that it has not been compromised by other parties. Confidential data are not disclosed to people who do not require them or who should not have access them. Ensuring confidentiality means that information is organized in terms of who needs to have access as well as the sensitivity of the data. A breach of confidentiality may take place through different means, for instance hacking or social engineering. Integrity. Data integrity refers the certainty that the data is not tampered with or degraded during or after submission. It is the certainty that the data has not been subject to unauthorized modification, either international or unintentional. There are 2 points during the transmission during which the integrity could be compromised: during the upload or transmission of data, or during the storage of the document in the database or collection. Availability. This means that the information is available to authorized users when it is needed. For a system to demonstrate availability, it must have properly functioning computing systems, security controls, and communication channels. System defined as critical, power generation, medical equipment, safety system often have extreme requirements related to availability. This system must be resilient against cyber threats and have safeguard against power, outage, hardware failures, and other events that might impact the system availability. And that's all. Thank you, sir.